Do you have data in front of you at your fingertips that you just don't have time to look at? Or when you look at it, you're just not really sure what it all means? You know, I speak to many business owners every week who have this same challenge where they know they should be spending more time making data-driven decisions. They know they should be spending more time looking at whether it's their financials or their dashboards, and everything is set up for them, but they don't have a clear understanding of how to interpret the data. They don't know what questions to ask when the information's in front of them so that they can then make better decisions. And so it's critically important that you educate yourself in this area as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, because the numbers are the language of business. You've probably heard me say this before. They're the language of business. It's the scorecard. You know, it's a profit and a cash flow game. And the way to win is to understand the score. So it's really, really important that you start to learn how to interpret the numbers, or you surround yourself with people that can break it down and make sense of it for you. So what often happens is business owners make assumptions based off what they're observing or what they think is happening, whether it's, you know, they get a feeling or they've heard a little bit in the week of work. But what we need to do is ensure that this is supported by data. I'll give you an example. You're working with a company and they do a lot of social media marketing. So they've got paid Google, they've got SEO that they're doing paid social and the like. Anyway, in their retail shop, they heard when they asked, you know, how did you hear about us? People were saying Instagram. And so they directly then want to go and do more into Instagram. But then what's interesting is the week later, they're hearing Facebook. So then let's go and do more Facebook. And once we delved into the numbers and we looked at, okay, well, what are we spending on Facebook and what traffic is that driving? What posts are we posting on Instagram and what engagement is that getting? And we just looked a little deeper. We actually saw that there was synergies between the two, and that it was actually probably not one more than the other, but the fact that they were being done simultaneously, that was increasing the airtime that they had and driving more traffic in. So in this particular scenario, it wasn't about doing more of one than the other, because over a span of a 3-week period, we heard one week was more Instagram, 1 week was more Facebook. And so you've got to be really careful to not just make quick off-the-cuff decisions without delving in a little bit further. What we did realize was over that period, we had a really, really strong offer that seemed to respond on all channels. But what was interesting was our spend, our media spend actually came down. So yeah, you've got to be careful to draw assumptions without looking at the data. So what did we do with that information? Well, what we did was we dialed things up a little bit because we'd heard that feedback and monitored what was going on. And again, we saw an increase in sales. We saw an increase in traffic. Dialed it up a little bit more. We continued to see the increase. So we were monitoring the amount we were spending with the result we're getting off the back to I guess, confirm our assumptions. So that's just one little example. I think it's really, really important that the interpretation of data is done well. You can't look at things necessarily in isolation. You've got to look at the combination of numbers in these areas and draw your conclusions, but you've got to have your finger on the pulse. You've got to make sure you're looking at the information that's in front of you so you can make these decisions. The only reason we could keep dialing things up, we're doing it from a place of strength and confidence because the data was telling us that it was working. I hope this has been helpful. I'd love to hear if this resonates with you and any comments that you've got below, and we'll chat to you soon.